I go by Christopher or Ward is what
Okay.
everyone calls me. So
Okay, Christopher.
yeah,
That's my middle name. So, is this your first album?
yeah, hmm
Okay. Okay. So you,
yeah,
how long have you, when did you start? Let me just throw three questions at you first.
sure.
When did you guys start? How did you get together, form your band, and why did you pick this particular genre?
Okay. Yeah, I Ward was founded like maybe a year ago.
Okay.
I had been working in New York City. I actually worked in the Empire State Building,
Okay.
and I had a corporate job that I really didn't like. And for a lot of my life, I'd been a musician off and on, and I've been in different bands. Uh, but I'd say like in the beginning of 2016, I was in my office, and I just kind of had it. I was done. And so I knew I wanted to do something different. I knew that music had always been a part of what I wanted to do, so I thought I would give it a try. So in 2016, I moved from New York to Los Angeles and set up shop here in this studio here in Culver City. And this has always been the studio for us. And I say us, I mean, I'm Ward. I have a band, and we do we do music all over Los Angeles. But we sort of got together in 2016, maybe around winter, fall 2016, and we play about 15 shows in LA over the last 9 months or so, and actually over the last 6 months, and then we've been taking a break, working back in the studio, and I'm focused more on the new music for the new album that I'm working on. So that's sort of the history of the band and what I'm doing. But in terms of why this genre and this music, I mean, if you think about Tom Petty passing away over the last couple of weeks, I think it was actually even the same day I talked to you when I was in Italy. When I was a little boy, very little boy, my parents gave me an electric guitar, and they gave me the Joshua Tree songbook, like the chords in the songbook, and they gave me Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever. And I didn't know who Tom Petty was, but I knew U2. I loved U2. I wanted to be a guitar player. And I knew, I don't know if this is like this for everybody, but you either wanted to be Slash or The Edge. That was like how, that was like, it was very clear to me.
That's a fact.
And maybe everyone else was like, oh no, you should do all kinds of music. No, I didn't want to do all kinds of music. I didn't want to be Slash. I wanted to be The Edge. I wanted to be the sideman. I wanted to be the texture sound. I didn't want to be the lead guitar.
Sure.
And so I was really into U2, and I learned that music backwards and forwards. I already knew it, and I had this guitar, and I was putting dents in the frets, and so I got tired of that after a couple of months, and then I opened up my Tom Petty songbook, and I was like, oh, who is this? You know, what is this? You know, and on paper, the songs look so simple. They're so A, D, E, D, A, E, D suspended fourth, D is free falling, and I fell in love with that, and that's what made me actually get inspired to write music and write songs was him. I mean, with U2 and a lot of bands, there's a sound and there's a vocal and an effect that makes it happen. But with Tom Petty, it's the song. You know? Tom Petty's always about don't bore us, get to the chorus, and really trying to get to the essence of the music as quickly as possible, especially with rock music. And being genre, just being all over the place. He's punk, he's country, he's blues, he's rock, he's everything. Whenever he wants to be, he can just move in and out of it. He's not assigning himself to that. So those are my influences. Like U2, I think is a little more obvious in the stuff that I'm doing. I love Echo and the Bunnymen. I love The Church. I love The Cure. I love the Ramones. You know, in more modern, of course, I love very popular bands like the Killers and the Interpol and things like that. But like, or the Chameleons or any of those. I love all that stuff. I love that sound. I love that pulse, that like straight score, that pulse, and the way the vocals get to come out in a more emotional way. It appeals to me and the way I like to sing. But songwriting, I have I also love the Doors. I love, again, you know, a lot of American influences as well in terms of blues rock, Creedence Clearwater, Johnny Cash, all those, because I used to do some folk music. You can find it online. I can share with you later. You can put it in the link. But I was in a sort of a folky band that was very like no drums, just acoustic guitars, and very like beard rock, you know, like 10 years ago. But this is what I love. I love exactly the sound. It's sort of a lot of different things at once. The stuff that I think you heard on the EP is very post-punk. It's very for me, it was like a good place to start. If I'm gonna change my career completely and just do music, I wanted to start with my roots. But I think now what I'm working on is something that's maybe a little bit more comprehensive across not just this sort of Brit rock Manchester sound, but also incorporating other things. So yeah, that's kind of my background.
I got to tell you, you know, first of all, I was in my mother's womb when she was in Woodstock in August 1969. I was born October 1969. So I have a very eclectic understanding and knowledge of music from all genres. And I will tell you, I listen to your music, and the way I do this is I do not have scripted questions. I can't stand that. I kind of go with the flow, and I tell all the folks I interview, that's what Oprah Winfrey did. That's why she's so popular, so successful. She didn't have a script. She asked questions based on the conversation and connecting with the person.
Yeah, and listen.
Yeah. Exactly. And synthesizing. And so I will tell you, I listen to artists' music periodically, and when I hear certain sounds, I'll write it down, the band that it reminds me of. And I'm a CCC fan. I do play Interpol. I was listening to Interpol before it got popular 12 years ago. First band that came to mind was U2. And I think it was Velvet Walls, maybe?
Right.
Because I had my back to the song. I was working over here, and you sound kind of like Bono. A bit. It's your sound though, but I can tell, and I knew U2 was one of your influences. I'm a big fan of The Cure. Grew up on The Cure. Have all their music. New Order, The Smiths, Depeche Mode, Kate Bush, Fine Young Cannibals. Love The Killers. I'm the man. Love that song. Favorite song. Let me ask you something. You've got to be a really bold guy to have a corporate job. I see you've got a wedding band on. To just one day say, I want to do what I love. That's a ballsy move. And, you know, with all of the tentacles with corporate America and your family, and how you've got to have a foundation, you feel like you've got to stay in this box to function in this country by having that corporate job and that salary, you know, the house, the 2 cars, etc., and the kids. I mean, how did you and your spouse make that decision that you were going to do and pursue what you want? And what's amazing to me is that you started in 2016, and I'll be honest with you, I was looking at your music, and you know, I looked at your discography, and I'm like, it's like you've been around longer. How did you get? No, I'm serious, because I was all over the web looking, and I'm like, I'm not really finding anything but this first album. I said, there's no way that they've only been around for a short period of time. So, how did you get to where you are in such a short period of time?
All right. Well, a couple of things. First of all, great questions. My wife is the greatest person in the world, and I couldn't do this without her. She's like the most important band member I could possibly have. She supports me doing this. She wants me to do this. She's been wanting me to do this for years, and I've actually been the one who's sort of had these things like you just said, these concerns. Couple of things. I mean, we were fortunate enough to get to a point where monetarily we were able to do it. My wife and I don't have kids. We just have chihuahuas, which in some ways are, you know. Sure. So we don't have some things that might make it harder if we had them. So we are fortunate in those ways. But my wife is very supportive of me doing this. I think for me, for a long time, it was, oh well, I can do all these other things. I'm able to do internet programming and business and art and design and lead teams and all these other things. Sure. That instantly well. They instantly want it. And that's what they want. They want it to just, they're buying your time, and they want you to just sort of have, sort of a contract with them where you're giving your time away. And it's really easy. It was really easy for me to do that and to just set aside sure. what I wanted. And I got, I got monetarily rewarded and compensated for that and all those things. But after a while, again, like when I got to this point, I was just like, there actually is no other choice. There isn't anything that actually can make me feel happy the same way. So it wasn't actually that hard, ultimately. The only thing that's hard is that every day I do this, and every day that I'm happy, there's a little tinge of regret that I didn't do it sooner. Really? And it makes me a little sad that I wish I would have started this long before, because I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I very quickly got this all together because I've always wanted to do it. I've been playing guitar my whole life and singing my whole life and writing songs, so I didn't have to learn any of that. But getting the band together and going on Craigslist, I mean, that could have been a book, trying to get all those people together and
So you sought your band members. You sought out your band members.
Yeah, I came to LA and I had a little cheesy demo I did on like fake drums and everything, and I just kind of put together some stuff and I put it on Craigslist, and people liked it. And so I got all these people coming in, whether they could play instruments or not. They'd come in and they'd want to jam with me and stuff, and it was painstaking to find some people to play music with. So
I mean, what you've done is inspiring as hell, because absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I have a very good job, I'm not going to lie, but I've always wanted to do this, and as I interview artists such as yourselves and see you guys so successful, it keeps me, pushing the music out there, because I think what you've done, that's really motivating. So tell me about, now I'm going to try to pronounce these names. I'm pretty good with pronouncing names. So you've got Kareem El Gobashi.
Yeah.
Darren Edwards, Christopher Ward. Is it Mauricio or Mauricio Munguia?
Mauricio Munguia.
Munguia. Oh, I was close.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you found these guys in LA?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how long was that process? Because I get these questions, and what's great about what I do is I will tag someone else that is struggling to get to where you are. I'll tag them in one of your posts that I send to you, and they can ask questions, just simple questions. How did you get that kind of thing? And they'll look at the video. But I like to create this, this repository of artists and information, so you guys can help one another. Because I do this for free because I love the music. The music is. It's
not an easy business, so
Well, it's not.
But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate you saying that, because it's it's an uphill battle, and you play those clubs, and they 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 don't help you promote, and you don't. It's not like it used to be,
Right.
Where people were actually going to discover new music out in the world. They're just online now, so you have to be online, and the shows are great, but they're such small potatoes for trying to be successful in terms of like reach.
Yeah.
They're really important for making you a better band. You have to play live to just be a better band. You have to have a good band to begin with, and everyone has to love each other, and everyone has to be in it 100%. But then you also then have to be out there gelling, and even if it's only for 5 or 6 people, which I've done in a bar,
I've seen
you got to do
videos.
it.
I've seen
What's that?
I said I've seen exactly what you're saying with other bands where they're in a bar and they're playing with like 4 people on the floor. You do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. Yep. You keep the video really tight so you never know.
Right.
But we've also played shows that have like 100 people, which was like a big deal for me. I've never done that, and the cheering's a little bit bigger. It's just a little bit more like, a hint of like what it could be. So I love playing live. I wish that the culture, maybe it's better in Chicago. I don't know. Find me a show in Chicago. I think it's smart to be entrepreneurial, especially with music. I think music and musicians are the closest people to internet startup people. There's 3 big areas. There's production or recording, and that's been made really, really cheap through software like Logic. Distribution, you can get stuff anywhere to anyone at any time that they want it, for free or monetized. You can do whatever you want. You don't need all of the radio and all of that anymore.
Right.
The marketing, the middle piece, the awareness, with all of this ability to do the other 2 things I just mentioned, the marketing becomes so much more important. And I've gotten offers to like work in big, like Sunset Sound Studios in Los Angeles and make $10,000 song singles and things like that, and it's great, but like that money should really be about the marketing and trying to get to people. Like we're on Spotify, but we're still, we don't. I'm not doing anything with that right now.
Right.
I think it's important to be entrepreneurial. I think that for me, I love music so much that I'm willing to learn how to do these other things that I don't necessarily want to do.
Right.
I don't necessarily want to beg my friends and family to come to shows. That's not what I'm in music for, but
Exactly.
It's something I do.
Yep.
I don't want to have to learn marketing and business things necessarily, but I do. I don't want to have to learn how to, figure out how to promote myself and do all of those things, but I want to make this be what I do for a living. And so I kind of think about it sometimes like, I don't know, do you cook?
Oh yeah.
Are you a cook?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I cook
So like,
sometimes.
so let's say someone was over at dinner and they said, "Oh my gosh, you're, such a great cook. You should open a restaurant." And you go, "Oh yeah, I should open a restaurant. I should quit my job and I should open a restaurant because I'm such a good cook." And maybe that's true. But what you find very quickly running a restaurant is that it has very little to do with the quality of the food. In fact, I would imagine a lot of people go to restaurants for many other reasons, because of the great drinks or the atmosphere, or because it's cool, or it's got a certain thing, and the fact that the food is good. The food has to be good, but and that's a thing. But if everything else was crap and the food was good, I don't think the restaurant would stay in business. There's a lot that goes into doing something like that, and there are a lot of considerations that you didn't sign up for necessarily when you thought, "Oh, I'm such a good cook." And you have to believe in that thing, the music for me, just that I have something to say, and that what I'm doing is original, or that eventually it will be original, and that someday I'll cut through. But I want to know the rest of it so that I don't, that doesn't become a factor. Like I think when you say of those other people that have great music, I'd love to hear them. And I think it's great what you do, because I wouldn't know about them otherwise. And what a shame. What a shame, because there are certain skill sets that people don't know, that they can't get out there in the world. But it really is not you put it up there and people will just discover you. That doesn't happen anymore. There isn't a guy with a cigar and a bag full of cash in the back of the club waiting to hear you going, I'm going to sign these boys. Like, it doesn't happen anymore. It's, and so you have to kind of own it yourself. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I think you're spot on. I mean, it is. I mean, you have to represent your brand. You have to develop your brand, and then you have to figure out what kind of brand equity you have, and then you have to market that. And I think the culmination of all those skills, the smart artist today is going to know how to do a lot of that. And if that person, he or she, doesn't know how to do that, they're going to fail. Go through your 4 songs, because I want to know what they're about and why you wrote them, and then we'll conclude, because this was only supposed to be 30 minutes, but I really enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah.
So let's start with Liars, and let me back up. When I do the video, I will play your songs in the background during the interview, and then I'll put the name of the song up on the screen in the video, so when people see it, they'll know what song is what. So, again, let's go to the song Liars. Let's just play a little snippet of that. You hear that okay?
Yeah.
I'm sure you hear it in your sleep.
I actually haven't listened to this in a while, but yeah.
This is a great song.
Well, thank you.
Now, this particular song, it's like a journey to me. I really like this song. It's a great running song, driving song, workout song, and meditation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's funny, different people have different favorites of these 4, because they're it was a demo, so it was meant to be very like reaching in different ways. Like, some of them are like rock or shoegaze, some of them are very post-punk. I think one of them is pretty dancey. It's not really a dance song, but it has more of a 4 on the floor kind of beat. So,
so tell me about Liars. Where did that come from?
I'm not really sure where the songs come from in terms of in the lyrics and things like that. Usually it's personal experience or things I've read. Sometimes it's, making stories out of other like fictional stories that I've read, or like I act too. So like some of those.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, not really. I mean, I act like sort of for fun, but like Shakespeare and things. So. Sometimes they come from those types of things, and so they come from all over. And then, but I think about it. Maybe lyrics. I take a cue from David Bowie, who actually built software that just sort of generated these random text strings, and a lot of times I'll have the music going and I'll just mumble nonsense words. I could send you the nonsense word versions of these songs where I'm just sort of mumbling things like, oh, that kind of sounds like that. Well, what could that mean? Oh, it could mean that. Oh, that could mean that. Oh, that actually could mean something. Let me build around that. So I kind of work backwards into it sometimes. Sometimes I have words and I just add them to the song, but sometimes it comes from the other way, and I think those can be interesting because they have a little bit of like a lateral thinking approach to them. So, what's interesting about music is I studied language in school, and language has these tropes, where these repeating patterns, these things that we all recognize, which is really all language is. And but music has that too. And are chord changes that let you know the chorus is coming. There are riffs that nod to certain types of things to open your mind to certain types of things, and I think even the most original Radiohead or
Oh, you love it.
Prince or
Yes.
David, like any of the most original sounding musicians, they're all just borrowing material and reforming it into things. And I think that that's important. But I do know, like with post punk, there are those sort of ways of playing and the types of riffs and things that actually like sort of have nostalgia, right? Like
Yes.
they have a you know like a little pain point, a little like oh
Yes.
yeah, oh, and there's something fun about that.
Yep.
And I think for me in this journey, like quitting my job and trying to go back to do something and starting with my core icons and I can't help but like borrow directly and even try to showcase some of these things because I just love it so much and I just don't want to be afraid to make it sound like copying anymore because there's no way to do that really.
Well, no, no. You're. What is wonderful about your music is you don't sound. It's like you play a song. I can't say, well, that song sounds like the Smiths, Morrissey. No, it's different elements, and they're not bold. They're subtle, and I think
Yeah,
that's great because we know where your music is. Where your music is coming from. That little corridor in your mind. When you're
yeah,
creating that, and I think that's wonderful. And I had a really good time picking out because I'm gonna tell you, Interpol was it was the cure for me. Interpol, love Interpol. Let's get into Spy.
yeah.
I love this song. And I like the lyrics. Your opening lyrics. This is Ward. The song is Spy. Yeah, that's. Yeah, so I like the way you open that up. It's and it's
That song for me, that song for me is just about that bass and that kick, just that
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
sloppy, like
Uh-huh.
just slide bass, just like it just gives you that sort of. That's just like, I mean, there's just something fun. I don't even know what the right word is to just something very enjoyable about just listening to that groove and that beat. And I just wanted to sing something over it. And I think the song kind of came out of that.
That's a good
I
song.
wrote that bass line. I think that was the first thing I wrote when I got here, and I really enjoyed that. So I was like, oh, okay, that could be something, and that's a little different than what stuff I've done before. So
No, it
I'm
sounds really good on the KRKs. I crank it up, and it sounds
uh,
really good. You should be
yeah.
proud of that. That's a good song, man.
I
The whole album is
I
fantastic.
thank you very much. Yeah,
All right, so let's get into No Time, and I know I'm rushing. So hang
no, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
on. Okay. All right, this is No Time. It's like every song is completely different, and I love that. I love that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's like and what I like about the music is all of the instruments. You know, it's not it's not glitchy. It's whoever's mastering music's doing a phenomenal job. But when you listen to this loud, between your vocals and the guitar and the percussion, it's magnifying. It's great. It sounds really good, and you get into that. And you're just like yeah. Because I'll tell you, man. I'll be over here working and I play the music, and it's you take a break and you're like, yeah, I really like that song. It's I don't know what it's just what it does. It's what it does to your mood. It's not a typical. Your music's not atypical music. It's you really put some time into the development of these songs.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell you. It reminds me of the David Bowies and like I said, the Cure and the U2, where they really, that's when music was real as far as I'm concerned. I'm not gonna go back to Motown, okay?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, that music, that's when they were writing, and they were writing about themselves and experiences and band. It just, so that's what this reminded me of.
Yeah. I think it's just a waste of spirit to write about sex and drugs and,
It's easy.
well, unless it's, I mean, I guess I should edit that or erase that.
Oh yeah, I'll take
I
that.
mean, so what I think is when you write songs about certain themes, unless they come from a personal situation or a personal standpoint, they just can't, you can't help but have them end up sort of sounding generic. And I think that the trick is to be able to write songs that mean something to you personally, but have a generic sort of sense to them. Like No Time. I mean, it means something to me, but no one has time. And I don't mean it in the sense of like you're late for the bus, but
Right.
like we're born with no time.
Right.
We're not born with enough time to do everything we possibly could or want to do, and the tragedy of that. So that's not really necessarily specifically what the song is about, but I like songs that sort of do that for you. That song, there's two things about that are cool in terms of the recording. One is I sang it on an SM57, which is like not a mic like this, but like just like a handheld.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of roamed around and sang it like I was live. So it's more of like a live vocal, where the other ones are very studio.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat.
And like that you get sort of volume changes and stuff in a good way. And the other thing is, we recorded in this guy's house, recorded some of the drums and things. And I have a big old British amp. It's called a Vox, and they're really loud. They're so stupid loud before there was ways to amplify, instruments and stuff beyond their own volume. Used to have these big, you can see the Beatles had them, a stack of them on stage. I have this big amp, and I cranked it all the way up, and you can hear in that song more than any of them, there's like feedback all over the place. And the feedback is that like hummy,
Yep.
sort of hummy, like glowy sound that's at the beginning and the end especially, but it's all through it, and I'm just like letting it kind of ring out, and it gives it this very sort of live sound behind it, because of that feedback that you don't usually get to do, well, especially with digital instruments if you're recording direct.
Right,
but
right.
It was cool to crank that amp. I've never really done that, and it was cool to be able to do that. It was super, super loud, and obviously we turned it down, but.
No, I know. I think Logic has a simulated version, and I've actually heard that loud before.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that was like.
I should be in a different room because it was too loud for me. I couldn't hear the music with the headphones. But it was cool.
All right, so let's get into Velvet Walls. Great song, Velvet Walls by Ward. Here it comes.
This has some of that feedback too.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
And I'm going to tell you what this reminded me of, that opening. Oh, geez. The band just slipped my mind. What's the guy's name? Chris.
Oh, I've heard this before. It sort of sounds like the beginning of Yellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was listening to that band before they got popular.
I didn't want to do it that way. I didn't want to do that song that way, but it was the way we had been doing it live. I actually always thought it could be more of like acoustic. Velvet walls, seeping through the backs of things. Nothing falls, nothing ever stood up straight. Trouble I don't look for, like pain that I don't need.
That's nice.
Things that I didn't plan for. Bring me to here. Almost like fake plastic trees, how that starts.
Yeah. Coldplay.
Have it kind of build up around it.
Yeah.
I might re-record that now that you said that.
Oh, no. I always.
It's not for a band, but it does. I get how it sounds like that.
But
it's so fun to talk about influences and I mean, people have said I sound like so many people, and most of the time they're not saying it in a negative way. And I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think it's my goal for 2018 is to like not take that stuff personally. I don't know why I do.
No. I'm gonna tell you, you shouldn't. You shouldn't, because all of the artists that we've named, you said Echo and the Bunnymen. I thought you were going to tell me the Bauhaus and Peter Murphy also.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I love Peter Murphy, and it's like I love Interpol. Peter Gabriel, the Smiths, all these guys, memorable songs. Listen, it's been an absolute I could talk to you all night about music.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sending your
Absolutely.
music.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I love this. I love this. And musicians are the best people to talk to, by the way. They are. You're very knowledgeable, very educated, and you've had your hands in a lot of things, and that's what really made this very interesting for me. And you've kind of opened my eyes to a few things and some ideas. So, with that, just, drive your fans to The Runner to listen, if you can. And I will have this interview posted probably tomorrow afternoon. And I'll also try to post it on Facebook. Facebook's been acting kind of weird. But I will edit this video, because right now it's at 56 minutes. I'm going to condense it down to at least 35.
Okay. Are you going to put it on YouTube? Because then I can just sort of link through to it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it goes on my on my site, YouTube site, and what I do is I'll send you a link as well, so you'll see it. Okay, before we go, you want to tell fans what's next for you and where they can find your music?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello. I'm actually here in the studio right now. And I'm recording a full-length album that I'm going to release over the next year. And it doesn't have a name yet. It doesn't barely have any song titles yet, but by January it will. You can get the current music directly from our website, Ward.band, http Ward.band, and you can get all my music right there. You can also go on Spotify if you want to stream it and just search for Ward, and I'm there. We have different giveaways and things on Instagram, which is also Ward.band. So I think those are probably the best ways to find me right now. And then if anyone knows of a great community anywhere in the country that really likes post-punk and wants another band to come play, I would love to come play. I love to play online, but I think there's something special about being there and meeting new people.
Oh,
sure. If anyone out there has an idea for this music, and I want to thank THERUNNER for letting me interview today and getting some more spotlight on what I'm doing out here in LA. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Christopher, again, it's been a pleasure. Appreciate your time and love your music. Stay in touch. All right? Stay in touch.
Yeah.
All right. Hey,
oh, for sure.
All right. Take care. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, man.
Take care.